Hello and welcome to an introduction to the Ubuntu Linux operating system. My name is Mr. Summers and I'm greatly looking forward to starting our class. Before we go on, I want to give you some background about how I like to approach teaching technology. It's been my experience that people learn best, especially with technology, through a two-pronged approach. First, we want to work through problems. And when we have problems, we actually shouldn't be discouraged. When we're working with computers of any sort, whether with Linux or something else, sooner or later we're going to run into some problems. And that's okay, because problems are what help us learn. So you should be prepared to do some good problem solving in this course. Secondly, in relation to that, I'm very happy for you to have questions. The only time I really feel uncomfortable is when a student doesn't have any questions. So please feel free to ask questions. The more questions that you throw at me related to the course, of course, not necessarily like the meaning of life or something, but related to Linux, the more that I can help you learn about Ubuntu Linux. Okay? So please feel free to ask questions in the forum, ask questions by messaging, ask questions. I'm happy to help you. If you're having a problem with your installation, I'm happy to help you over the phone or over web conferencing. If you want to work out carrier pigeons, we can probably do that too. But ask questions. Okay. So second thing. Now I have some questions for you. First, just maybe you can introduce yourself to the forum, and on the forum there, your name and where you're from and so forth. What interests you have, and then answer some other questions like what made you interested in Linux, and Ubuntu in particular. And have you had any experience with Linux already, right? If so, what kind? Was it like at your friend's house? Do you already run Linux? Whatever experience you've had with Linux. And if you've had none, that's fine too. This is a beginner's course, so you don't have to feel as though if you had no Linux experience, that's a problem. Okay. Now, for our class, third question. You're going to have to install Linux and set it up. In the first week, that's going to be very much our focus, installing and setting up Linux. So you're going to have two options to do that, either on a PC or on a virtual machine. Okay, so please indicate which one of these you'd like to do. You could also do both, and I actually recommend that because it allows you to kind of compare and contrast with different kinds of installations or different approach to installation on two different machines, a virtual machine and on the actual PC hardware. All right. Either way, we're going to give instruction for both in terms of installation setup in this class. You may find, even if you install it to PC hardware, you may find down the line that you'd like to install to a virtual machine, and so it's good for you to have that acquaintance or that modicum of knowledge in this class. Fourth question. If you're going to install Ubuntu Linux on a PC, please let me know the brand and model number of the PC you will be using. I am happy to give technical support in this class. That's part of the instruction. So if you run into problems, I want to be able to help you troubleshoot those problems and walk you through how to learn how to troubleshoot. And the best way for me to do that, with respect to the Linux class especially, is to be able to know what hardware you're using. You know who made the computer and what the model number of the computer is. And lastly, what kind of computer do you already use? You know, is it a Mac? Do you already use Linux? Is it a Windows machine? All right. So please go ahead and post those answers to the forum, and I'm looking forward to getting started. So welcome to our Linux class. I'd like to discuss how I approach teaching technology. I think it's in my experience, both online and teaching technology to people in person, that people learn best by solving problems. And so we're going to do a lot of problem solving in our class. And in relation to that, you shouldn't feel embarrassed to ask any questions at all. On the contrary, asking questions about what we're doing and how we're doing it helps me help you tremendously. So please feel free to ask questions. And even though this is a flexible course, please feel free to message me if you're really confused and you want to schedule some virtual office hours using the web conferencing software that I have. That's fine too, or on the phone. I want to help you out any way I can. So again, please ask away when it comes to questions. Okay. Now, for our first set of posts, what I'd like you to do is answer some questions for me, because I'd really like to get to know you and what made you interested in Linux. So the first question is, what made you interested in Linux? Maybe you use Linux already, maybe you use it on a Raspberry Pi, maybe you've seen it in school. What made you interested in it? Second, have you had any experience with Linux already? Maybe you've played with it yourself, maybe you already installed it, maybe you have a friend who has a Linux machine and you've worked on it. Whatever it is, I'd be very interested to know what experience you already have. Again, this will really help me to tailor the class to your needs and where you're at presently. Now for our class, you're going to have to do a Linux installation, and that's installation and setup is going to be very much the focus of the first week. And to that end, I'm curious to know whether you're going to use a virtual machine or a PC. And in short, and we're going to talk more about this, but a virtual machine is just that. It's a machine emulated on your computer. We're going to use VirtualBox for this purpose, that you can install operating systems on, like Linux. You can also install Linux right onto a PC. You might find it useful to do both, to kind of compare and contrast how those experiences go. And I'm going to provide instruction on both either way, because you may find, even if you, for this class, you install Linux to a PC, you may find that it's helpful for you to know about the virtual machine way of doing it, so that you can do that down the line. Okay. Now, if you are going to install Ubuntu Linux on a PC, please let me know the brand and the model number of the PC you will be using. Okay. Now, I should stress that we're not going. This class will not cover installing Linux to onto a Mac. If that's a problem, let me know, and I'll see if I can work with you on that. But that hopefully we're installing Linux on a regular PC, not a Mac. And if you are going to use a computer, if you are going to install Linux on a PC as opposed to a virtual machine, please tell me the brand and model number of that, so I can help troubleshoot any problems that arise for you. And lastly, what kind of a computer do you already use? Do you use a Mac? Do you use Linux? Do you use Windows, etc.? Okay, so I'm really looking forward to getting started, and I'm looking forward to having you answer those questions so I get to know you better. All right, thanks.